and looking a little bit disorientated on their attack, trying to just see where they want to go from. Sharit needs to drop and drop quickly. Needed a bit of help from Chibitsu, but he fell too comfortably inside the train. FearX. Really no pressure on them that round from CAG, who got top floor, held it for a long time, but never really looked comfortable when executing towards the site.
Well, it's not every day of the week you see mining, especially not for the opening round. Add on top of the fact that they are trailing in this series. So a ballsy pick there from FearX, but rewarded. Cyclops, I think, to me, screamed like they didn't really understand the win cons at the very end of the round. They looked a little bit disorientated, lacked a little bit of confidence. They had a decent read and good intel. But in terms of positioning and timing, it was pretty off the mark there. FearX, to their credit, I like the setup. They got really good information off the Valk. Again, Woogie pocketed one late as well, and that may have had impact. So looking rock solid to kick off this second map. Down to Kitchen for the following round. Do we continue to see the impact of that Ram ban and the limited vert potential? I must say, I'm quite surprised at the selection of Maniton. Yes, O's technically a shield, but I really thought they were going to maybe look to lean a little bit more heavily into the Blitz / Blackbeard being available, but
5 seconds remaining.
We'll wait and see.
Leaves that top floor a little bit longer as well for FearX, and a good start to win the opening round, especially when you choose a site like mining. You've got to be very much confident in your ability to win that site. Not the best of starts for Good Boy, who again struggled on Lair, so 1 and 10 technically now between the two maps. For a top 20 rated player at the tournament so far, that's still something that FearX can maybe look to see if he can improve as the map goes on. But we kind of mentioned it time and time again on Lair regarding like the entry battle for CAG throughout this event. It's been poor, the worst rated entry team. Lair's a little different, but hey, on Cafe, how about that one from Blackray? The timing is perfect. The skeleton key to open up a good line of sight over to Rin. Finds the opening kill. And as I was talking about entries, CAG find one.
Yeah, that's really nice. Rin was lurking over towards that stairs position in an attempt to try and cut down drone utility. Ultimately would have wanted to get back towards side. I highly doubt he was looking to lurk or flank up that particular position. So gets caught on a good timing from Blackray, lands his shot. And that's a big win early on in the round for CAG. Top floor, second floor control. They can get to work on that vert with the buggy play. They have flank watch available as well, so Mephi needs to be very careful. The track's still the correct thing. It's not really a play that he can go for. It doesn't have a deployable shield either, so it's a dangerous area over towards VIP now for Mephi. Wants to stay alive, play the Warden, can look through smokes and flashes. No smokes available this round though from CAG. Well, that's one failed grenade. Trying to clear out that castle barricade, which the second one does the job from Aniton. The also available a form of a shield, but not quite the same as others. CAG cannot just hold these angles though for too long. Eventually going to have to make their way down. Eventually you're going to need to deal with Mephi towards VIP if you're looking for this freezer side hit in towards site. Which I imagine will be the case, considering the drop will come through from Aniton into freezer. Well, it worked. Shield provided coverage and is able to go deeper towards Coffee. Going to get the plant down behind said shield, avoid any nitrocell. There is only one, it's VIP, it's Mephi, and he's not in a position to deny with a nitrocell. Yokai drone is effective, does deny the plant from going down, but CAG find a kill. Finally coded, activates down the corridor, kill onto Chibitsu. The Yokai still in a position to deny once again. They need to deal with that one. 23 seconds left. Blackray still holding from above inside a fireplace, and they've got Akali towards pillar. Aniton though starting to panic, starting to worry. There's no time remaining. Finally the drop down into freezer from Blackray. Deals at least with one of the Yokais. One more still up. Now dealt with. No more Yokais available. So now you got to stop this plant manually. And the push up from Koda does get stopped as Blackray made his way down. It's only Woogie. Well, he won a 1v2 post plant back on Lair, but a 1v3 surely should be too much even for this monster of a man. Into bar he goes, needs to clear above, but he hasn't really got the time. There's no world in which CAG are going to allow this to happen again. A little scrappy, a little bit hectic. A little. I mean, the win con from Cyclops initially, or at least the plant condition for them, dropping down with the Osa, going deep over towards Coffee, it was perfect. It baited the smoke util into the wrong
position. But then we see the 2-1 split, 2 players above, and the Yokai continuing to pester the plant. They had no ability to actually deal with that plant denial. Eventually, the late rotation, they were able to flood, overwhelm, and make it work, but a little bit dicey. Fearx, though, not in optimal positions ultimately to do a whole lot about it. And so Cyclops ultimately on top.
A more conventional round for CAG to think their way through it in comparison to a site like Mining. And now we go over reading for the third round, so Fearx not wanting to go top floor. And again, the bans will come through after this round as well. Each team will get one extra, and we kind of pose the question in regards to shield play. And so far, it hasn't been ultra prevalent by CAG, but in this round, they did hover over the Blackbeard, electing to not bring it.
Yeah.
So do you ban shield then for the second half?
Maybe not.
Maybe get rid of something like a Capitao, even potentially a Grim.
Oh, okay, so this is interesting. Rin, triple Jaeger near that wood stack position. That will help aid for
Woogie on the Pulse as well.
Denying the cocktail clear, yeah, in combination with Pulse and the Nitro threat from below. It's a big investment above here from Fearx, understandably so. Nephi might even just tuck into the corner here. This could be very, very intriguing to watch out. For those unaware, Jaeger ADS devices now catching that Cap util.
Well, it's not a really big hold up above for Fearx. The way that they're kind of holding this now is quite unconventional. Typically, you'll see that kind of cocktail stack, maybe a bit of washrooms pressure, you know, kind of get forced back by the attack if they go for that shot lounge, kind of sweep across top floor. But at the moment, it's only Mephi that's kind of hanging around top white stairs. That's it. So it's a very much open top floor set here by Fearx, clearly on purpose.
Setting a trap, perhaps. Trying to spring it on Cyclops.
This gas babe's getting used really early from Mephi, but maybe just playing for his life at this point. That's the final one. Elsewhere, Sharif will go down, so his struggles continue from group stage now onto this map. Of course, did perform quite well on Lair. Anderton just holding the upside down rappel. They know that they've got Mephi trapped. He's out of gas babes.
There's nothing they can do about it.
Well, the help is coming, and Mephi surely doesn't get out of this. He finds the kill onto Anderton. The help was a little too late to arrive, and with that, he can reposition as well. He finds a second! Should have got cleared for nothing, but instead he finds 2 kills. Eventually, he did lose his life, but job done at that point. Needed that from Blackray, pushing down white stairs just to keep the round alive for CAG, but it's still firmly in a good spot for Fearx. Blackray, by the way, 7-1. Farming here on Cafe to begin. He's going to need more.
And still the one BPC up in reading as well. So Fearx will have a good read defense, man advantage.
Can't be throwing these rounds though for you, Fearx. You're already 1 map down in this series. These are the ones you've got to capitalize. As you mentioned, the bulletproof camera still in a good position. Up close. How does he keep doing it? Finally shut down by Woogie. And Woogie goes for more. Well, Blackray is on a heater, but he cannot win that round single-handedly. And Fearx will find a second, and we head into the mid-half ban phase.
Yeah, big moment from Woogie. Lowest rated player for the team at the event, and off to a bit of a slow start here in the series, but help shut down site. Grim Valk off the board, so not an additional shield ban. Fearx clearly confident, and I think understandably so, perhaps in contrast to my doubts that they can deal with Anaton, who hasn't posed all that much of a threat yet to find a pick in this game. Cyclops, tactical timeout.
That's an early one, but I don't mind it. Although if you think about it, we had the early one in the previous match of Lair for Fearx, and maybe in the end was that a little too early. That was after 2 rounds, this one after 3. For CAG, I think the 2 attacking rounds is probably the pass mark for this half. And take into consideration their numbers, their stats, the map itself. So they don't really need a whole lot more. 3 rounds to probably find 1. Good spirits right now for CAG. Of course, 1 map up in the series. But it comes down to Woogie again. I mean, Blackray was just absolutely terrorizing towards the end of that round.
I mean, this whole
this
Mephi
should never be capable of finding that many kills up above. He was absolutely pinched, had no util left, but a double kill from Woogie secures the round.
I feel like as the weeks and the months progress, we're going to see more of those positions become defendable with the Jaeger. That previously may have been a little more sketchy. So good innovation from Fearx, doing their homework, doing their preparation heading into this game.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Unfortunately, Good Boy, though, still 0-3. Everyone else, though, is starting to lift a little bit here on Cafe in comparison to Lair.
Attackers are heading
Blackray
out to defuse the bomb.
8-2, but they only have 1 round to show for it. Blackray, the second highest rated player on CAG coming into the playoffs. And I was just having a quick look at the overview. So that's looking at the entire series. So Lair plus the first couple of rounds of Cafe. 1-12 now for Good Boy. 39 EPS. The next lowest rated player is actually on CAG, which is Anaton at 73 EPS.
So Mephi, again, power position, a bit of pressure, utility perhaps inevitable. And the Kali in play to block off that line of sight, at least initially, but Sharif has now rotated off, back over towards the Skylight position. Mephi now to aggress forward underneath the Skylight. Falls all the way back. Okay.
Well, Murphy has shown he's definitely willing to be aggressive, even if he is playing the smoke.
Well, wants to stay alive, keep the gas babes up, so have the mirror to instead use that.
First time seeing top floor as well for Fearx.
Chibisu will be desperate to get value from that shock drone to try and clear these mirror windows. It is critically important. Early gas babe. No one's there. Nobody's there. Good Boy's first point of contact, washroom. Unless it's perhaps to dissuade the swing-in, that's potentially the play.
Yeah, Arkali is on the window, white corridor. Woogie finds the opening kill onto Arkali with a Nitrous Cell. That was indeed the man on the window, rappelling over. They were ready for him. Good Boy again losing his life, now 1-13. And they lose Rin as well, and CAG is starting to make their charge towards the site. They've got full lounge control. Anaton drone in towards backstore. That one gets shot out, but they've still got 5 more, so decent drone economy for CAG. And they can look to make the drop rather securely. No one in the vicinity for Fearx. And does Sharif activate here on the Kali?
Anaton with a flame and a smoke here. So there's a couple of different options that they could go for in terms of plant position. Fearx, despite being at the land advantage, their power positions still rather strong.
Yeah, very much deep. 2 over towards Cocktail and then 1 top white stairs. But if you can get away into block lines of sight, you could probably go for a plant. Anaton has the kit, and right now Blackray continues to have the kills. He's got 10 inside 4 rounds. There's not a lot that really Mephi can do. Blackray make it 11. Talk about performing on the biggest of stages for Blackray for this CAG roster. And they tie things up 2-2.
Blackray just continues to open up win cons late round. He's a threat that Fearx are struggling to deal with. Good swing in. Rest of the team follows up and just breaks down that defense.
Coming into this match, you had the 19th EPS in Good Boy and the 21st EPS in Blackray. Well, there's an absolute gulf between the two of them in this series right now. Blackray 152, Good Boy like 37. That is staggering.
In that replay package as well, Rin going for the run out. That was
by attackers.
an idea for sure, and did not pay off.
And that's a second attacking round now for CAG. I mean, that puts them in a really strong position mentally going into the remainder of this half with 2 rounds to follow. They've already got kind of job done on their attack in Cafe for a team that has struggled attacking-wise at this event so far. Ranked 14th, only a 38% attacker win rate. If they get even 1 more round here, I'm starting to then worry for Fearx. So this becomes a pivotal round in the 5th. Fearx have to get one on the board here. Slow down any kind of momentum for CAG. Got to remember, they are now 1 map down. Fearx are on the verge of elimination if they cannot start to get control on Cafe. And for all the talk coming into the playoffs, it's all been about Fearx.
Well, we're back to mining. CAG looked rusty on the execute last time out. It was the opening round of this half. Fearex with that pocket pick on the objective were able to make it work. This time out though, slightly different line up. The Blackbeard in play and the Ying as well. And that combination could be really deadly, and especially once Black Ray has gotten to work on his hard breach and he has the license to run around, we have seen him be a massive threat in the kill department as well.
There's a lot of firepower for CAG in terms of this lineup. They are a very good Ying team. Typically, Anaton can play that, but Akali this time around. Early logic bomb from Sharif over towards Brown Stairs, and Mephi losing his life to Black Ray. 12-2, and Sharif now gets involved, and the party feels like it's starting for CAG. Time to get Kagan. For Fearex, though, they've got no response in this 5th round. Overwhelmed so early on. And well, last time this site proved to be a huge differentiating factor, one of which CAG didn't know how to attack. This time, they just walk in. And Fearex were not ready for it. And for Good Boy, he's certainly got no opportunity. It's flawless from CAG. They are not fearing this Korean powerhouse. And Fearex have now called a tactical timeout from Dark.
Can you see me, guys?
Yeah.
Guys, let's change one more time a little bit because we are not fighting, right? They hound the bar. They domain, of course, well, not to be bar, but no problem, that's happened. They domain, they kill, and they will fucking safe. He stair safe, he cocktail safe, right? Don't do that. Let's repeat again here, the train again. Same strat, but boy, let's change the 1 put some Mozzie, bro. If you need to run change, you can do that, organize with the boys. Put Mozzie in every stat, take the initial drones, we don't see. They don't like to repeat attacks, so high chance for they go to domain second score. Anyway, they're bad execution, right? Remember the first round we play in train? They domain, they're fucking bad execution. But do the first step a little bit more aggressive, right? A little bit more. We're not fighting the first step, right? So let's do that with more power.
Well, I mean, to be honest, from Dark there, I actually kind of like the fact that he's not getting overly heated. He's not getting overly invested. He goes straight to the strategy and says, this is what we can do. This is what we can do better. Let's back ourselves in. We're going to repeat. We're going to go back to mining, which that in itself is a brazy and bold call. But to be fair, they had won this site previously back in the opening round. CAG struggled to unlock mining. This time they kind of just waltzed in, sheer firepower. Fearex weren't ready for it. I think they were maybe too much in their heads about the strategy behind defending mining that they kind of just allowed CAG to just walk around the map. And to be honest right now, you've got to find a way to shut down Black Ray. He is a difference maker in this match. Siege is a team game, but when you have a player playing this good on this much of a heater, that is scary.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, the double down to Brazen Claw. Cyclops with the perfect counterplay on attack there in the prior round of completely ignoring the map clear and instead just oversimplifying it. White Stairs hit horizontal across, extract value from the Blackbeard, allow Black Ray to do his thing. He's clearly being enabled well by the team.
Same lineup, essentially, or close to it. They bring the Mozzie. We heard Dark say that in the tactical timeout communication. And they bring the Legion. So what this offers for Fearex is a bit more roam power. So if CAG do kind of try to play the same way as previously last round, they'll be met a little bit more by-coded by Good Boy. But unfortunately, Good Boy has only found 1 kill through 2 maps. So CAG might not mind seeing a Mozzie early on in this round and say, hey, that could be an entry position for CAG. And they bring pretty much the same looking lineup.
Loading new mag.
Basically, just make space for Black Ray and let him do his thing right now. That's honestly the #1 game plan for CAG. 3 attacking rounds found on Cafe, winning the opening map. Best position possible for this roster to get into a top 4 finish at an event. They are not that far away. But that's where you've got to, as players, just put that out of your mind. Focus on this match round by round. Entry from Anaton in towards Cocktail. Anaton swiftly up close. Mephi traded though. A little battle towards top White Stairs, and it's going the way of Fearex. They're actually able to meet them head on this time, rather than allowing them to get map control. And they dealt with Black Ray. Huge piece off the board, and with Akali falling, finally, this is the Fearex roster that we saw a lot of back in the group stage. And while Jibitsu does find that kill, certainly with a 3 versus 1 opportunity, Fearex should be able to tie the half.
Yeah, has to collect that kit as well. Fearex mating them. Withstanding the pressure, good trade game. There is info though. He could isolate it to a 1 versus 2. Missed it. A bad timing, however.
Missed his opportunity, I feel like. Good yellow ping information. has a minute to think through this, and as you said, a minute to also isolate some of these players.
Rin one shot.
Yep. Well, so far, we've seen some crazy things in this series. This would be one of the crazier ones. If CHG win this round, you may as well throw in the white towel if you're FearX. They have to just play smart. Don't play scared, but play smart. You've got the numbers. Play the site. Yes, he's got kit. That's okay. Over towards Pillar. Now it's about trying to reacquire information. With that shot, they now know where he is. Play off of that. Little time remaining. Smoke is out. Woogie can play contact. You don't want Rin playing contact, and there he is. There's the boogeyman through the smoke. 3-3-1/2 on the second map.
And that pocket of Brazilian fans back on their feet. They've been quiet for a while now, but something to cheer about as we enter the halftime switch. So a new ban phase 2 play out. FearX have done enough to remain competitive in this match, but I can't help but feel and echo the same concerns, especially from Fox on the desk before we came into this map. The structure, the linear nature, the compact size of Cafe could prove to be too much of a challenge for them, considering how they've played up until this point. But there's an opportunity to buck that expectation as Army Grim, the initial bans. We'll see what the follow-up ends up being.
We see a shield ban here from CAG to somewhat match opening half. No. So Valkyrie and IQ. So kind of just trading one for one there in terms of what those operators can do.
Yep. Does mean the full suite of shields will be up. Typically a little bit more prevalent for Cyclops, but
FearX can play shield. They can absolutely play the shields here. And with the way that they've kind of been playing from behind in a lot of rounds, I feel like they may look to the shields. You think back to Lair, they were losing a lot of entry battles. So the shields may actually enable them to get better position, therefore better entry fights to go their way.
Yeah, use Woogie to play that front line, get info, a bit of space, less risk.
It's on the Fuse. Of course, Fuse can have a shield as well. So second half, CAG, Defense Cafe, 4 more rounds to see them book their place into a semi-final.
Attackers have
So
located
up to
a bomb.
FearX to find these attacking rounds. They've been a really good attacking team at this event, 4th overall, but their entries have left a little bit to be desired. In saying that, they are 5th for plants. They're actually 1 better than CAG. But I think at this point you can just throw a lot of the statistics out, because when you're at a 3-3-1/2 second map facing elimination, it just comes down to instincts. Game sense here for FearX. And for Good Boy, it has to probably be confidence. If he can find a kill or 2, get that confidence flowing, he's more than strong enough as a player to get himself back into this game and offer more firepower to this FearX roster, who are essentially, dare I say, playing a man down at the moment.
Oh, he was second best.
It's 1-15.
Yeah, he's second best on the team coming in, 73% cost.
Rin, opening kill, huge, on to Anaton. Not a lot of lost utility, and I think Anaton actually went for a run out. The FearX need these opening kills. It's been quite 50-50 so far here on Cafe. With that, though, they now established a little trend. 4 of the last 5 rounds have gone the way of FearX, and no surprise to see that scoreboard starting to go more in their fashion, dealing with some of this utility over towards default. This is actually really good pacing for FearX. I feel like they're getting a lot done early in this round.
Oh,
and Woogie straight towards Black Stairs. He's 8-3.
Well, Good Boy might not be getting kills, but he flushed him out with that utility.
Good utility usage, and now in for the site, looking to get the plant down. Really well orchestrated attacking round from FearX, and just believes in themselves enough that maybe they can bring this series back. Black Gray, well, I mean, I'm not too surprised that he finds that headshot through the soft wall. But with Sharif down, that's the Robin Dawn for the Batman, and Rin to double kill, and FearX make a statement to begin this second half. That was a swift attack, well-orchestrated attack, and shows how good this team can be when they are all firing.
Yeah, not showing a lot of fear there through the mid-round, which was, you know, really nice to see. Did a good job dismissing the initial run-out attempt, gave themselves that advantage, that breathing room. They leaned then into the utility of the Ying to flush out the stairs, and then from there, able to crunch side, overwhelm, trade out. Good opening round for the attack to find a bit of comfort and some confidence. Now we look at Cyclops to respond. We go downstairs, over towards kitchen. a site, especially with the compositions that I'm kind of seeing off screen, is going to lean itself into being very much focused on the late round, which has been scrappy on this side in rounds gone by. So,
well, they just looked like they had confidence in their attack.
Yeah. They're just taking, they weren't afraid to take on these fights, and for the most part, they had either supporting utility or someone close by to trade.
And I think the onus actually came at the end of the first half. It was that final 6th round. What did they do? They kind of changed up their mindset. Let's go head on. Let's kind of bring the fight to CAG. And they kind of then embody that, start it then off in the second half as well, where they say, hey, let's play pretty fast without it looking rushed, because it wasn't. You can find kills and get good map space early in rounds without it being sort of rushed. It was well orchestrated. Bodes well for FearX if they can continue to play such as that. And like you said, even though Good Boy didn't find a kill, his utility usage certainly helped enable them to win that round. 4-3 lead for FearX. First time they've led in this match since round 3. It's been a little bit back and forth.
Rayora back in the fold. What do you think the win rate, the win rate has been with her at this event?
30%.
33.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll take that. I mean, a good margin there. Sharif over towards brown stairs. There is actually one towards bot white. Mephi, is he ready for it? Knows there's one inside of VIP, but he's also conscious of that long angle. Woogie though. Ooh. Andrin open things up for FearX. Okay. That front door has just been beaten down. They've made their way in, and FearX is starting to put the fear into CAG.
I'm hearing the crowd, Jake. I'm hearing FearX. Yeah. And
this is the FearX we expected coming into this quarterfinal, and the FearX we're starting to get. And Coda just said in chat, Good Boy has logged in. GG.
Hell yeah.
Well, they've been playing a man down. I cannot put it any other way. At one point, you're 1-15 in a best-of-3 series. You're losing a lot of firepower there over the course of many rounds, but flawless there from FearX. And again, I think it's really startling if you're CAG. The 2 rounds that have played out in this half have just been so utterly dominant.
Yeah.
New drone, good day.
Cafe is a very difficult map. I mean, difficult in online, but especially Cafe, to get that ground without trades. And so to do it in such a dominant fashion, especially in that prior round, flawless in the end.
10 seconds left.
Very impressive effort. I love the mentality that FearX have brought in that final round of the half, the double down decision there, I think, to then confirm it and transition that into attack.
Is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
It's worked out really nicely for them. Cyclops now, much like their counterparts, they go to mining. Will FearX have the same teething issues on their first attempt attacking into this site? Now, in contrast, they do have the Ram available, so Vert is going to be the win con for them. They want to get that control above, cover planks with Gridlock, and Woogie on the shield. So they have the ability to play forward info, play it safe.
On the map of Cafe right now, Black Ray is a 189 EPS. The next player on CAG is an 81. That is a gulf. That is a chasm. I mean, like, it is not even comparable. Black Ray needs help. Otherwise, this map could very much get away from CAG.
Well, he's on the pulse for this round, so arguably his role on paper is to actually gather info and aid others. Honestly, he might just be doing it for self-sufficient info.
Well, to be fair, the pacing this round for FearX not as quick as the previous one. They have certainly been slowed down. They've got the Monty though, that can obviously aid in that more slower pace. And as you said, mining might be a little bit trickier here for FearX. It was certainly for CAG back in the opening round of this map. Sharif contact red stairs. You certainly don't want to give up another opening kill. It's been, oh, never mind. As I've just said it, Sharif has been cleared. Red stairs. That's 4 opening kills now in a row to FearX.
Black Ray.
6 of the last 7. And with Black Ray being shut down by Good Boy, the tide has well and truly turned into the favor of FearX. He indeed has locked in. And FearX are about to log off CAG here on Cafe. It's an onslaught in this second half. But hey, a free one for Akali.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter though. They are just swarming. That third It's waiting.
I'm loving the energy from this team on the stage. First time Korea has played in front
Who
of
does
a
it go
crowd.
back to? If you want to pinpoint the moment that things turn dark, timeout. Boys, let's do this again, I believe. He believed in his roster. He believed in his team. And since then, they've believed in him.
Yeah. He's been a massive difference maker, and Good Boy switching on as well. I mean, he gets the key kill there onto Blackray, who had info. The pulse scanner was just out. Put it back in the pocket, tried to find a pick back to help his team fight back into the round. But they cannot just be relying on that one individual. Everybody around the map just breaking down, losing their ones, losing that control. 3 map points, Fear X. I cannot believe I'm saying that sentence after what we have seen so far.
It was a 3-2 lead in favor of CAG. Since then, bang, 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 and bang from Fear X as they've brought this back to a resounding lead. Bank calling our names. The deciding map of this quarterfinal between these APAC teams. And for Fear X, that's the fear for CAG. They have woken up. And unequivocally, the best that we've had from Fear X at this tournament far outweighs the best from CAG, and that's a scary thought if you're a CAG fan.
Rin has chipped away to 12-3, mind you.
That's Rin, just quietly in the dark, poking away.
Okay.
And Blackray has quietly just been halted.
Yeah. Spawn pick attempt. So desperation setting in here.
I mean, at this point, Blackray just says, I'm Batman, and I've got to go and get them all, because no one else is doing it. But the Montang is not the man you want to see. Oh, there was one spotted. A little delayed, but the shots come through. Some onto Mephi. Blackray sensing that he has to turn the tide, but the shots whip, he's missed them all! Blackray's been deactivated here on Cafe after a huge start. That was a huge opportunity, and that was the Capitao. So much utility.
That's massive. That is a massive moment for this round. Fear X, Mephi specifically, getting away with it. And that utility will come into play later. The flames, the smokes, depending on what kind of play they want to go for, if it's like a washrooms clear, a drop, skylight, etc. A couple of different options available, but that will be a very important tool in about a minute and a half time.
And it allows Fear X to just slowly make their way into the site now, knowing that the first shots from CAG has grazed them. Jibitsu towards Cocktail, knows there's one on the rappel.
Well, I mean, washrooms is good here. It's really just over.
Jibitsu, by the way, does have a drone. Keep that in mind on the Mozzie. He has captured one.
Here we go. They've got a player isolated.
Woogie on the Monty. He's just making his way back. Drop down coded in front of them. There was a one-for-one trade between Akali and Rin. The timing is everything, and Coded gets rid of the Mozzie. Slight advantage now for Fear X, still plenty of time. Mephi to double down, gets rid of Sharif, and indeed with Blackray still on the board, this round's not over, but it is looking done. Needs help from Anaton. Needs help from his Warden. But Blackray says, I don't need the help. I'll do it myself. And he does indeed have yellow ping information.
There's a BPC, I don't know if it got cleared.
And there's a drone as well from the fallen Mozzie. 60 seconds. Blackray already having a tremendous map, needs to go a little bit more. It's up close, Coded though! And he's hit the message from the end of Blackray! Anaton is the last man standing for Cyclops. 50 seconds for Fear X to send us to a third decisive map.
Cyclops are done here. Anaton, 1-6, 1 versus 3. Fear X firing on all cylinders.
Monty as well, taking the shield man into account, needs to deal with Wookie quickly. Now, there's one above. He's wary of that. The shots ring out, and the shots hit the mark! Fear X stand up as one as they send us to bank in this all APAC showdown. Of course, that third map was required.
Unbelievable from Fear X. We all but counted them out. We thought Cafe was going to be a write-off. We thought they would struggle on attack.
Blackray was 12-2 and CAG was singing. But Fear X are the ones now in control of the orchestra. We are heading to bank. A third map is needed here.